morning, everyone. I'm Yadires, Nova-Salcedo. Happy to have you with us. Month after month, year after year, immigration continues to be one of the hottest topics of debate at a local, state, and national level. And with President Trump rolling out his new immigration plan this week, today on Centro, we have decided to do a special segment talking about some of the most important issues that are being discussed right now in Boston, Massachusetts, and the rest of the country. To help us do that, with us this morning is Marion Davis, Communications Director for the nonprofit, nonpartisan organization, the MIRA Coalition. Good morning, Marion.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Immigration. I don't want to say that it's hot. It's a hot topic because it has been hot for months and years. It is incredible.
I keep wanting to not do something so interesting. It's really,
there's so much going on with immigration. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about President Trump's new immigration plan. What did you think about it?
So I think, first of all, I have to backtrack a little bit, because to me the biggest story of the week was not this plan necessarily, although, they're certainly sending a message about their priorities, but it was the story that came out earlier in the week from the Washington Post about this plan that they had to go and round up recent asylum seekers who had crossed the border, deliberately make them miss their court dates to be able to find them deportable, and then send out, to go and do big raids in sanctuary cities to send a message that we're getting tough on these asylum seekers and we're not going to let anybody get away with anything. And to me, that really, that just sent chills down my spine. And I think that then, coming out with an immigration plan afterwards saying like, oh, we're going to be tough on border security. They've already militarized the border as much as you could possibly do it. They're completely failing on this issue, but they're sending again the message that they really don't care about people. They really don't, family-based migration, which they are so against, is the foundation of our immigration system. We've been bringing our moms, our sisters, our brothers to this country for generations. Yes. It's what built America.
I do want to move on to another important topic that to you guys in MIRA, it is extremely important. The Safe Communities Act.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
The Safe Communities Act is back, and it's really a crucial piece of legislation for us because, we can't do anything about the fact that ICE is in our courts. We can't do anything about the fact that ICE is going out and separating families in our communities, but we can not actively help them. And right now, a lot of people are afraid to call the police or to have any kind of interaction with the police because if they do that, they're afraid that they're going to be turned over to ICE. And so many police departments already have policies that they won't do that. Yes. But we want to have a uniform policy across the state so that if you're being beaten by your husband, for example, or if somebody's breaking into your house, or if somebody just assaulted you on the street, you don't have to worry about calling the police. You just call and you know that they're not going to ask you, where are you from? Are you here legally? Before they take your report and before they do their best to help you.
Okay. We want to move on to the census. Yes. There's an important question that they're fighting to add, or hasn't been added already to the census, which that might cause a lot of people not to want to fill out the census. Talk to us about that.
Yes. So the citizenship question was put on the census under pretty questionable pretenses. They've come up with all these different excuses that have all been proven to be false. But the bottom line is we expect the Supreme Court, unfortunately, is probably going to keep it there. So then the question becomes, what are people supposed to do? Because a lot of immigrants have been afraid of responding to the census.
To begin with.
Yes.
I mean, I've been doing Centro for 23 years. I've talked about the census twice already, in 2000, 2010. And one of the biggest issues is that a lot of people out there don't want to fill out the census. Yes. So would that question make it even worse for them? And now are they really not going to want to fill it out?
We're definitely very, very concerned about that because we think that that is going to happen. And especially, the other thing that you have to think about is it's happening in this context of the Trump administration making people feel very unwelcome and unsafe here anyway. That said, we feel very confident that the census is actually safe. It is extremely, extremely illegal to disclose information from the census. It's just, the president would have to actively defy Congress and just go and do something outrageous. We don't think that that's going to happen. And the other thing is, logistically, it would make no sense because there's tens of millions of immigrants in this country, probably 25 million or so who are non-citizens. And it's just impractical to go and try to find them all to see who among them is here with papers and without.
So MIRA is recommending for people to still fill out the census.
Absolutely.
Make sure they fill it out. Thank you so much for coming by.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
For the latest information on the different topics discussed today, you can call MIRA at 617-350-5480. You can also get a direct link to the MIRA Coalition website and their social media pages. Visiting us online at cbsboston.com/centro. There you can get more information on today's show and our past shows. You can watch both the English and the Spanish versions of Centro. And we also want to invite you to connect with us on social media. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And that will do it for this week's Centro. I'm Yadires Nova-Salcedo, inviting you to step forward to a better you. See you next week.
All right, Dee Dee, thank you.